do it as we go and as you guys want to see them all. Achilles. I think Achilles is. Oh wait. So I guess S is gonna be top tier, top pick, top ban. B is gonna be average. A is gonna be above average. C is below average. D is bad. E is unviable. So like most of these gods over in here would be an E. Does Knockshot count? Yeah, Knockshot counts. Knock support? No. Achilles, probably average. He has pretty okay 2v2. His level 1 is pretty good because he can just dash in. He'll get his 3, and then he'll just dash around the wave, group the wave, and then if he hits 2 first, he does have decent kill potential. I think Ama's pretty average too. Just doesn't have a lot of hard CC, just does damage. The ult does do damage, and it has like the delayed stun, but it's not like instant CC that you can like not beads and raw ult off of, like, or Scylla Crush off of. Like, it's not like that quick CC that you need in the support role, which makes it a little on the weaker side. Arachne, unviable. Ares, pretty bad. Probably one of the worst guardians in the game. I don't know what they can do. I feel like he's just not that good. I don't know how they could buff him. Maybe make his ult back down to 90 seconds or something, but right now he's just not good. We're going to just throw her an E for unviable. RDO, I mean, she's been out of the game for a while now, I'm pretty sure. She's pretty average, so she gives you pressure. Her late game is pretty meh. Her 2 is a sick ability. Yeah, she's just average. Athena's above average. Always just going to be, I mean, for the most part, she's always going to be above average. The global ult is sick. She has good, not great lane pressure. The taunt is like the easiest CC to have as a support, and it's easy to hit. Giant cone. You can be everywhere at once just because of your ult. Willix, unviable. Bacchus. I'm going to throw Bacchus in D tier right now. He's just not good. I don't even, like, he's kind of got the, they don't have big weaknesses, but they're just not good. Bacchus is kind of safe. His 3 is okay. His ult is good. His 1 is pretty meh. I think that's Bacchus' big problem, is his 1 is pretty meh. You get a few prots and a few power, but you don't even level that until like level 14 is 1 now, so it's basically irrelevant. Baka, unviable. Bellona, pretty bad. She's definitely more viable than any of those characters, but just same kind of problem as Zama. No like instant CC. There's no taunt that just instantly pulls them towards you if they're out of position. You have to ult. So every 90 seconds she has a hard CC, and it's not even that quick. Kabrakan, I actually think with the buff that is diminishing returns don't. I mean, his 1 and 2 don't diminish anymore. I think that makes him a lot better. Yeah, below the same tier as Bacchus and Ares. I just don't think these two are good. Yeah, he has good pressure level 1. His ult is pretty sick. Walls are just good against most mages, and mages are getting played a lot. Good CC. His damage you have to be really close, which is the problem. So you have to build a little tankier, and in support if you fall behind as Kabrakan, you're basically useless. Kama, unviable. Serb, he's better than these 3. He's got really good damage. The anti-heal is really good. His prot shred with a lot of the magical ADCs is sick. And a lot of the magical ADCs are good right now, so he's a good god to learn for this current patch. I don't have my my webcam on. There we go. Let's move me. Oops. Let's move me over here. There we go. Don't forget Baron and Afro. Nah. They're not like that viable. Chalk. Same tier right here. He's got a good ult. Kind of plays support weird. He's more just like a backline diver, and he has to just trying to get ahead. Cthulhu. Better than these ones. He's just not really that strong. He's overpicked in support. His laning phase is fine. He just falls behind and he'll just die in his ult. He doesn't have like the items and the prots from a solo lane and health from solo lane, so that's his like biggest problem. Kukulkan, he's definitely more viable than like any of these assassins, and you could maybe see him be played just because His level 2 is sick if he transforms, which he can do pretty easily in duo. It's pretty impressive what he can do at that point. And he can basically just solo the ADC. Oops. Dodgy, horrible, unviable. Erlang, pretty average. Nah, probably below average. I would take any of these over Erlang. Good CC, good dive, good level 1, good level 2. He just gets outshined at what he does by other gods like Horus, Herc, Ymir. So that's like why you won't see him picked a lot. His ult is good. He's got like the CC. It's just other gods just outshine him. Fafnir, I don't know. I say it a lot. He's just pretty average right now. He doesn't have the best early game. You're really, really reliant on your hammer. If you're missing hammers, Fafnir is going to feel a lot worse. I mean, Bacchus just doesn't have an ability. His 1 is just not a good ability. I mean, it works with the passive, but like the prots and power you get is irrelevant. His jump is okay. It's really easy to like dodge Bacchus damage. None of it is instant other than his ult. His flop you can just get away from. You can use a knock immune ability. You can CC immune ability. Like his kit's just not strong. And every time I see him played, he just feels or looks weak. And you play against him, he feels weak. If you play as him, you don't feel like you're doing a lot. A walking purple buff, yeah, that's a pretty good way to put it. Until he transforms. Once he transforms, he does do a lot more. He does do a lot more damage. He's got more CC, prot shred. So if you can hit hammers enough, and you can get through the early phase, like 1, 2, 4. If you hit 5, Fafnir is insane. Fenrir, pretty below average. You just don't need Fenrir right now. He's like Erlang. He just gets outshined by other early game gods. Shouldn't Faf be A if you are able to consistently hit your abilities? Maybe he's just not. Actually, I could see Fafnir. I'm going to keep him in like B tier for average right now. But he definitely might be slightly above average because a lot of these gods aren't very good. And he's definitely better than all 4 of these gods, except maybe Ardia. Yeah, his level 5 is okay just because his ult does not last that long. But once you get to like level 5, you are basically Dragon for the entire fight. Ganesh is good. Probably not S tier. He's not top tier. You wouldn't really first pick him or ban him almost ever. He is better than Athena. Sick ult. His laning phase is good. His peel is good. His dive is good because of his ult. Like everything about Ganesh is just good. The only thing is no CC immunity, which makes it a little poor. But for the most part, Ganesh is just good. Geb is probably, with these two, the worst guardian in the game. You just cannot get through the laning phase with them. I don't think Geb is even worth playing at all right now, at least in support. Maybe in solo he's worth something, but he's just not good. Is this just pseudo pressure? Yeah, exactly. If you hit level 2, you can just keep Geb away from even getting farm, and his level 1 is not bad, but it's not good at all. How can they change Geb? Honestly, I don't know. I think this meta is just not for Geb at all. It's just the level 2 is way too important, and then Geb is just too easy to pick right now. Like, too easy to, like, pick. Like, if you're playing Geb, even if you go tank boots, you just still don't feel that strong. You feel not that tanky. You don't feel like you're doing a lot. You have to go blink on Geb, otherwise you feel even worse. Yeah, pick off. Pick off. You can't like go shell, and that's what I think is pretty good right now. Some gods do well with blink, like if they're aggressive in the early game, but Geb is just not. Geb's whole thing is being a rock, and they just made everything % pen. That's true too. The anti-crit his passive right now in this meta is really strong, but the rest of his kit's just not that good. Guan, somewhere in this tier. He's probably to the lower end of it, maybe by Fenrir. Laning phase is good.
Give me that.
Nitrosity, thank you for the follow, man. His laning phase is fine. It's good. He groups the wave. He has good damage. His late game just feels weird. Lizalvia, thank you for the follow. Yeah, so his laning phase is fine. His mid game is also strong. His late game feels very, very unimpactful. Your ult is to dive, and it's not good to peel. And that's kind of what you want to do as Guan. So you're basically sitting around healing, shredding a few prots, doing very, very minimal damage, and then ulting to confirm a kill maybe. So, I mean, he's okay. I wouldn't really play him right now. He's not that strong. Coca-Cola, thank you for the follow. What do they make Geb 1's CC immune? I think that'd be too strong. And it would be... Yeah, I think it was just... That'd be too strong. I really don't know. Maybe just lower the Geb shield cooldown, or make it so his 1 or his 3 are just outright better to get at level 2, because right now his level 2 is very, very weird and not good. Anti-heal's still... Yeah, anti-heal's still strong late game. Hades. Wait, why is Hades here? What? Okay. He's better than all these gods. I don't know. I'm not gonna really... Yeah, I guess I have him as a Guardian. Yeah, Guardian Hades. Herc, one of the best supports in the game. Just too much early, insane mid, insane late game. Really has no downside other than you're probably going to have potentially 4 physicals with Herc because he's not a Guardian. It's really the only downside of Hercules. Horus, almost the exact same thing. Level 1 insane, level 2 insane, level 3 is insane. His ult is sick. He's more of like a Guardian warrior than Hercules is. Hercules is more just, I'm going to kill you or I'm going to bring you to my team and they'll kill you. But they're both sick. Probably the best, 2 of the best 5 supports in the game. Hunbots, irrelevant. Jorm, irrelevant. Jorm's the worst Guardian support. Kali, irrelevant. Khepri. I don't know if I'd have Khepri in S tier with these gods or if he's more lower tier. Like top of A tier. I'm going to put him in S tier for now, but he's very, very low S tier. Or very high A tier. Why doesn't Horus get value from every team? What do you mean? Like, why can you not pick Horus in every game? For comp or rank? This is for comp. Like, straight up SPL or SEC. His, like, Lovebug needs his own tier. He kind of does. Like, he is... Because you can first pick Khepri, but it will feel weird just because one god is also able to be first picked, and it's Ao Kuang. But if you ban Ao Kuang, and Khepri's fine to first pick. What, doesn't every SPL team look at Horus like he's S tier? He gets through a lot of drafts. He doesn't pair that well with, like, current comps. He's good with, like, burst mages. Really good with burst mages. He's not as good with auto attack mages and hunters. And with double hunters, you cannot play Horus. A lot of people are playing double physical hunters, and unfortunately, you can't have those 3 as physical because then you're either forced into Hebo or Ao Kuang in the jungle, and then a solo lane you need a Guardian too, and cripples do fuck Horus. Arthur, irrelevant. Kumba, pretty meh. He's probably like ahead of these 3, but he's still just not that good. He has an okay level 1. He's got like CC. The damage is okay. His level 2 is kind of weird. Do you need the escape? Do you need the CC? His level 3 is then fine. And then he just doesn't really do a ton of stuff. He's got single target damage. He's got good CC. He's got good peel, but everything is just too easy to juke. Like, you kind of know when Kumba's looking to go on to you, how to avoid it. It is harder to kill him. I don't know. He just doesn't feel like he's average. He just doesn't feel like you do enough when you play him compared to, like, these other supports. Richard Cripples ruined Horus's entire kit. I like Horus into Artio. Artio is terrible. Yeah. He does have a lot, or not a lot. There's a few. Oh, also, Cupid is getting picked a lot, and Cupid is really, really good into Horus. Maybe, but still, the laning phase is just not strong with Cupid. I mean, with Kumba. It should be, but it's not. Like, Herc, Horus are just going to dominate him. You can kind of get away with Horse if they don't have cripples though, and I think that's what makes Horse this good. Kuzenbo, I think Kuzenbo's really strong. Probably top side of A tier. So much dual lane pressure in a 2v2. He basically just kills people by themselves. He has a ton of disrupt on his ult, and just in like the rest of his kit, and then his cooldowns are always really low. His kappas are insane early mid game because they just poke someone down, and a lot of sustain isn't there in the early mid game. Actually, mostly early game. Support Tierlist, yeah, it is Echo. Kumba Uller is good because Kuma just sets up for Uller, and Uller just does all the damage. Yeah, scale the 2, level the 2 first at level 1, and then max the 2. Level the ult whenever you can. And then do your 1 last. Loki, Merc, Irrelevant, Mulan. I feel like Mulan's probably around the average tier. 27. Thank you for the follow. Why is Geb D? He's just not good. You'll not. I don't think you'll see a single Geb game this split. Unless something drastic changes, either an item or a buff to him. I do not see Geb getting played. I could see Bacchus getting played, which might bring Bacchus even into C tier just because he has potential getting played. And then I see no Ares game in support. Same with Geb, not in support. I think that might be a thing that brings Bacchus out of D tier. Even though I don't think he's good, you probably see him played. Where's Disco? Keepy didn't make it either. Yeah, this is comp tier list. In ranked, Geb is a lot better. Geb is probably, and I mean a lot better. And he's not even that good in ranked, but he is a lot better in ranked than he is in comp. He's probably somewhere around average tier, a little bit below average. Nem irrelevant. Oh, Mulan. Her level 1 is really good. 120 damage, burst, and it slows. And then if you hit level 2 first, she basically kills any support, except if it's Xing Chen. She just pulls them back, and then if they start getting away a little bit, she slows them, and usually that's enough to at least kill them or pressure them so they have to pop like helipods, and then they're bullied out. And then she has a lot of CC with her ult in a team fight. Her 3 is sick for pick. It's kind of like a Sylvanas pull. Her damage is really good, and then she just feels really tanky too in at least the mid game. Naja's not bad. Better than these. If you get ahead, is her late game good? Not really. You kind of play for the early mid. Naja's sick in an actual 2v2. Like an actual 2v2 fight, she's insane. Or he's insane. However, the laning phase is kind of weird because you have to play around with the minions. She clears pretty well, but if you pick her into a Hercules, you'll just die. If you pick her into a Horus, you'll just die. Pick her into a Khepri, you'll maybe not die as fast, but just the disrupt and the CC and lockdown that Khepri has, it is really hard to play Nasha. In certain comps you can get away with Nasha though, and it doesn't feel that bad. And then if you get to the mid-late game, you feel like you're almost unkillable and you still do a lot of damage. Nike. She's pretty bad tier. You could maybe potentially see her played. Sunder kind of makes her a lot harder to play. Onk makes her a lot harder to play. Her laning phase is solid. Her CC is okay. She's really safe in support. And the disarm is pretty good too. It is delayed and it's usually able to be interrupted. But overall, she's meh. Y player. Her passive is irrelevant too. Odin's fallen off a lot. He used to get played a ton. And now he is fallen off a lot. He did get nerfed. His ult doesn't feel that strong. His 3 is still a good ability. His 2 is a fine ability. And then his 1 is mostly just for safety. You don't really use the bird bomb in support, so his damage really isn't that good. It's basically just the CC that you can just walk around the map and you have this instant stun just procced at all times. He's okay. Laning phase is fine. He does objectives okay because he's got the attack speed buff. Just, he's okay. Osiris isn't a support. Pele isn't a support. Rat. I think Rat's average. With the heal Acorn, he can be a really big nuisance. He does a lot of damage. He can waste a lot of time. His laning phase is pretty poor, but if you get all the laning phase, it's a lot better. and he feels a lot better. And as soon as you get Acorn, you're almost unkillable because of how much you heal. Once they get anti-heal online, it does feel a little bit worse, but you still heal for so much. If just one anti-heal thing is on you, you're still going to be healing for a good chunk of health. Robin, not a support. Serket, she's okay. Same kind of problem as Naja. If you're playing into a lot of these gods, you'll kind of just die. Bad level 1, solid level 2, solid level 3. And then as soon as you hit 5, you have this really big power spike with Serket where you can kill almost anyone. Late game, I think she's really good because she feels almost impossible to kill and she still does good damage. She could almost solo tank or squishies by herself. Set, not a support. Sobek. Sobek's pretty average. Maybe a little bit closer to A tier just because of how impossible he is to kill. His setup is easy. He feels really good in the laning phase. Like, if you go onto Sobek, you're kind of trolling. Someone just ulted a minion in one of my games like 2 days ago. That's rough. That's what I did too. So I can't even roast him or anything. How did it land? Setup's fine. He's really hard to go on. His ult is sick. If you need him to dive, he's good. If you need him to peel, he's good. It's just like, he's just good. You can first pick him if you have to. Yeah, he's always just kind of been pretty solid. Wukong, not bad. He's fine. Laning phase is okay.
Give me that.
Loki's an E. Yeah, all these gods are unviable. I just meme 859. Think of the follow. Was that just on Wukong? Yeah, his laning phase fine. He's safe. He does good amount of damage. His late game is pretty poor though. He kind of just wants to snowball, and then he allows like diving. You don't really peel with Wukong ever. Susano, not good. Sylvanas. I think Sylvanas is pretty good right now. So 2v2 pressure is really important. Sylvanas is almost impossible to kill in the 2v2. And as soon as you get tank boots, it feels really good to play Sylvanas. His heal's insane. The prots you get, the heal is pretty good. His prot run on his 1 and just like a root ability is actually sick. His ult is crazy good. And then if you can consistently hit pulls, you can almost blow up whoever you pull if they do not have actives because they'll just die before they hit the ground in most parts of the game. Get Blink on Sylv. I used to think that you had to get Blink on Sylvanas, and it is a little less needed now because if your team in a comp setting just plays around your pulls, you don't need Blink. Or if you're not needed to dive. You don't need to start fights out with a Blink ult anymore, Sylvanas. You can just get Shell and just be there to protect your backline. Terra, other top god in the game. Insane ult. Her level 1 is good. Her level 2 is one of the worst level 2s in the game, and then her level 3 is insane. If you can get to 5 on Terra, you'll feel impactful the entire game. You can play 2 different styles with her. You can go Blink and get a little bit of damage and just ult the backline, or you can play Peel Terra and just go like Shell. She really has no weak point other than level 2. Yeah, she's really just really good. Yo, let's get Billy. Press 4 and win. Exactly, press 4 and win. And then she has just good CC. Not a support. Not a support. I guess I'll just do this one. Even though nobody else plays him, Jake plays him, and he does play him pretty well. So he is like a pretty pressure-oriented pick. He needs to get ahead to be impactful, but if you do get ahead, you feel unkillable, kind of like he does in solo. Yeah. I can't say too much about him because I don't play him enough, but he does feel good. Or at least average. Vamana, not one.
Give me that.
You can do it. 69. Thank you for the follow, man. Xing Chen, another good one. Unkillable. Solid laning phase. Hard to kill. Good setup. Good peel. Good dive. Just like an overall, just a solid kit. Kind of like Sobek. It's just a little bit better than Sobek's. Sobek is more CC on one person and then knock them around. Xing Chen is CC on multiple people and throw them around. Yamoja, best god in support. I don't know if I say too much about her. She's insane. Ymir. I think Ymir is another really good god, and he's pretty underrated. I don't see Zhang or Poseidon on this list or Nox. All are an E tier for irrelevant. Irrelevant. His passive got buffed, and he feels very, very hard to kill in the 2v2 in laning phase. And He does a lot of damage, and he sets up for himself. His slow is now 4 seconds, or it's been 4 seconds, and then he takes 15% less damage instead of just 10. He just swings on people.
Give me that.
Anxiety GG, and it's dry. Thank you for the follows, guys. He is just hard to kill, and then if you get to the late game, Wall is such an OP ability past minute 15 when you have multiple points into it. He feels like you just play off his wall, kind of like you play off Sylvanas' pull. You throw up the wall, somebody beats or jumps it, then you drop the wall, and you just wait for your wall to come back up, and then you can just walk at him again. He controls just so much area, and he is so tanky that you don't want to go anywhere in the jungle if you know Ymir's there. I think Ymir's just too clunky. I can kind of see that because of his 2-3, but if you can hit his 2 consistently and make some good walls and then have like good ults, he is crazy. He also does play like pretty well into most of these gods because he can kill them all at level 1, but he's also decently susceptible to like ganks like most immovable supports are. Echotron, think of the follow. Wise Geb D just has no pressure. He is almost impossible to get out of the laning phase without being 1,000 gold behind. Did the wall change make that spell too strong? No, I think it made it just... Maybe the ability is a little too strong, but with how bad his... I don't even want to say they're that bad, because they are pretty sick abilities if you hit them, but how weird his 2 and 3 feel, I think his wall needs to be a little bit stronger. I wasn't here in the beginning. Why did you put Ardeo in B and not A? Just no CC immunity. If she falls behind, she is a lot more irrelevant than most other gods are. She is about the top of if you fall behind on this god, you will do nothing. She is like right there with Cerberus, as if you fall behind, you will do nothing. But I think she's just a lot easier and a lot better than Cerberus is. How does Ymir kill Herc? If Herc ever, like at level 1, if Herc does not get his dash or his 2, or if he ever dashes your ADC, you just turn around, you slow him, and then you kill him. You're autoing for like 70 damage or something like that. You can auto 4 times. You do like 280 damage, and then your 2 does like 80, 90, 100 damage or something like that. You're doing like 400 damage in 4 seconds by yourself. It fell right, definitely. Wait, what crisis? How would you nerf Yamoja? Something to do with her level 1 in the laning phase with her 1. Just having like 4 or 3 uses of the 1 at level 1 is crazy. You basically get free pressure, and unless you troll, you should never lose a 2v2 with Yamoja. And like, at level 1, Ymir does have a hard time in Yamoja because it's really hard to hit Yamoja with her.